Dear friends in Christ, I'm excited to personally invite you to the next session of the Holy League Institute. That's the online Catholic spiritual warfare school that I started with Dr. Dan Schneider. This is not just another class. It's a formation program designed to equip you with authentic Catholic teaching so you can stand strong against the powers of darkness and then go out and teach others in your parish, OCIA, your family, and among friends. We want to turn lambs into lions. We want to form teachers of authentic Catholic spiritual warfare, again, to your families and friends. How? By signing up for the next course at the Holy League Institute. The next class will be June 2nd on Tuesdays for the month of June. On June 2nd, class number 1, Exposing Satanism. Where did it come from? How do we deal with it as Catholics? June 9th, Exposing Witchcraft, the origins of witchcraft, and how do we expose it and fight against it as Catholics? June 16th, Exposing Santeria. Where did it come from? How do we fight it as Catholics? And June 23rd, Exposing Santa Muerte. Where did it come from? How do we fight it? And June 30th, what's wrong with the Ouija board? I'll tell you. So you got 5 weeks in June of spiritual warfare training. Each week, we will shine the light of Christ and the fullness of Catholic truth on these practices using scripture, church teaching, the wisdom of the saints, and real spiritual warfare principles using 2,000 years of Catholic thinkers. My goal is simple: to form strong students who become bold teachers and warriors for Christ and his church. So sign up today at holyleagueinstitute.com. 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 Please join us. The battle is real, but so is the victory we have in Jesus Christ through the intercession of our Blessed Mother and St. Michael the Archangel. God bless you. Keep the faith. We'll see you real soon.
You're not being honest yourself. And I tell you, the religious leaders who claim that we should use compassion towards every immigrant, they never use the term illegal immigrant. That is, again, that's what do they call that? Specious rhetoric that only what it does is inflame the spirits of the people to fight again, to demonize the conservative party, because we want to stand by the laws. We want to follow the laws of the land. We are for legal immigration. We have to. I don't know why when the other side, when the Democrats talk about immigration, they never differentiate between legal and illegal. They always talk about immigration, period. And because by doing that, they make it seem or make it appear as if we conservatives are against all immigration, and we're not.
I'll tell you why they do that, because they're experts at verbal engineering, which leads to social engineering. What I mean by that is that they're expert at speaking ambiguously.
Yes, and they do that.
Just like the Catholic left does. They speak ambiguously, and this way we call that verbal engineering, verbal gymnastics, and verbal engineering leads to social engineering. If you're promoting lies and propaganda, you're going to change people's behavior, especially towards the government. Here's another point that a lot of people on the left, political and even the Catholic left, are saying, well, crossing the border illegally is not a crime. Not true. It's a federal crime. It's Title 8 of the United States Code 1325. I'll repeat it again. It says federal crime, improper entry by an alien. Title 8, United States Code 1325. So, and if anybody's going to write on the comments, it's not a crime to come illegally, I just gave you the federal law that it violates. And it's very clear. The country said, the federal government says, first offense under Title 18,
Right.
imprisonment up to 6 months in jail. First offense, misdemeanor. Subsequent offense, up to 2 years in jail, and it's a felony. So the first time you get caught here illegally, it's a misdemeanor, fine and imprisonment up to 6 months. Second time they catch you here illegally in the U.S., again, Title 18, 13, 25, you can be in prison for up to 2 years, and it's now a felony, and there's also a large fine attached to it. So much for the myth of it's not a crime to come here legally.
No, and I guarantee you, the moment the party of the Democrats that are in favor of open borders, the moment they get enough votes to keep them in power forever, I guarantee you, mark my words, at that point, they will close the borders because they'll see no more use for illegal immigration because they already have all the votes they wanted. So the question is, if you are for open borders, at least be honest. When? How many? Is there a limit to how many people are going to come in? You're going to allow? I mean, at least concede a number. They never mention a number, Jess. They never talk how many. You ask a Democrat, well, you want increased legal immigration, how many numbers? Why don't we talk about that instead of just saying that it is inhumane to deport people who are here without permission? You know, if you think about it, all of this illegal immigration costs money to support, provide health care, education, room and board, public assistance, safety. Providing all of these society's resources means that all of these people are taking resources that actually are lawfully belonging to people who are here residing legally, citizens and legal residents. So it is unfair. It is stepping on other people's toes, and it is taking away resources, valuable resources for people who deserve it because they're here. They're either citizens or they're here living legally. And so I think that if we speak about this topic from a moral perspective, you cannot justify allowing illegal, unlimited, endless illegal open borders policies. No country, first of all, no country allows that. Every person that goes into another country is vetted. Yes. You have to go through a vetting process. Because why? Because no one wants to who wants to take in a criminal, so a rapist, a murderer? Who wants to take in a drug dealer? No, you don't want that kind of a person in your country. So what happens when you have illegal immigration? Right now, they're saying that terrorists from, the Middle East have already infiltrated our country, and there are cells everywhere. So
Chinese communists, Russian communists.
Yeah, this country is we're already in danger, and
Mexican cartels.
So
I think let me back up what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
The United States is being overrun by illegal immigrants, and I just don't mean from Mexico, from all over the world. Okay.
Yes.
They are coming mainly from the Southwest. That's the area that they generally come through. But our schools, our jails, our welfare, hospitals, labor jobs are being pushed to the brink, and in large part because of the influx of illegal immigrants. I've read from an organization called FAIR, Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR. The cost of providing social, medical, law enforcement, and educational services to illegal aliens from every level of government is estimated at about $7 billion per year as of 2023. So it's probably gone up a little bit in the last 3 years. That number is a staggering number. $7 billion per year. That's what it's coming out of our pockets to pay for the social, medical, law enforcement, educational services to
Everything.
illegal aliens from every level of government. That is an unsustainable debt, David.
And it is a burden that all of us who are living here legally have to sustain. We have to pony up for. I just think I think the morality or the immorality in that is obvious, and for someone not to see it or mention it is being dishonest. So I think we stand on good moral ground when we say that when we reject illegal immigration. The Catechism of the Catholic Church backs us up. It isn't inhumane to say no to someone who has not applied legally for entry into our country or any other country. And we're just following the laws. I tell you, by letting the borders open, the Democrats who allowed this to happen, the Biden administration specifically, they are responsible for all the child trafficking that happened as a result of it, for all the deaths that happened in the desert, the deaths and rapes and tortures and all of the demise that people fell in, because once the cartels, they cross illegal people over to our side, but these people are now indebted to them. Now they have to pay them back, and they become slaves, literally. So all of this immorality here that happens because of illegal immigration is being overlooked. And I think people suffer more by promoting this type of lifestyle, lawlessness. They suffer more than being pretending to be compassionate by allowing them to stay here undisturbed. So,
David, I remember years ago, Donald Trump was highly criticized because he basically said that people that are coming over to this country from all the countries in the world, to include Mexico, he said, we're not getting their best and brightest. And he was criticized by the left for saying that. Well, that's a true statement, David.
it is a true statement.
Judicialwatch.org in 2020 put out this article, well-sourced article. It says this, quote, most illegal immigrants arrested by ICE in 2020 had an average of 4 criminal convictions or charges. An average of 4. I've been in this country all my life. I've never been convicted of even jaywalking or spitting on the sidewalk or any vehicle. I have no criminal charges. It's not hard to not commit crime. The average illegal immigrant arrested by ICE in 2020 had 4 criminal convictions. We're not just talking charges, convictions.
And they also, again,
hence not the best and brightest are coming in, right?
It isn't the best and brightest nor the hardest working people, because they learn the ropes of the systems here, and they stick to them, and they start suctioning off all the resources. I had I ran a restaurant years back, and a couple of my employees and would come in and would tell me that they knew people that they had family members who were cheating the system. For example, this lady was claiming that her husband had abandoned her. She had 3 kids, and now the state came in and was giving her financial assistance because her husband abandoned her. Well, when the social worker came in to check in on him, if she caught her husband there with her, they would just say, "That's my brother." So this is the type of lying and deception and just trickery that goes on with taking away. Oh, and these are people who are here without permission, by the way. So again, the point is, when you're here in a country without permission, I think you're more likely to take than to give. You're more likely to be a receiver than be a giver, a contributor.
Yes.
In Minnesota, you have Somalis who, like 70% of them are receiving financial some kind of financial assistance from the government of Minnesota. So how are they contributing? This is the problem. Democrats want people like that because they become votes for them. And that's why once they get enough power to where at some point, if they get enough illegal immigrants to vote for them, then what's going to happen is it's going to become impossible for conservatives to win anything. We'll never win the House or the Senate, much less the presidency,
because the more constituents you have,
that's
you
it.
get more seats in Congress. That's the way it works. This is why they're trying to flood California, Minnesota, many places around the country with illegal immigrants. The more, because they count them in the census, and guess what? According to the number of people in any given area, you're assigned more congressional seats. So if you can just inundate the country with illegal pockets of illegal immigrants all over, the Democrats are going to pick up more seats in Congress, where they're going to have to elect officials to represent those people in those areas. That's the way it works.
That's the way it works, and that's going to be the death knell for the Conservative Party. And that's why
Here's
we have
another
to.
thing I want to just mention, before we wrap it up. We're close to the end here. I know that a lot of people get offended when they hear the word alien. And my rebut to that as a Catholic is that the word alien is used in the Holy Bible as a descriptive word, not as a pejorative. It's used as a descriptive word for a stranger or someone from another family or another Israelite clan. So it's not a pejorative. It's a descriptive word in the Holy Bible. The second thing that I would say, for those that say, you can't use the word alien, that's demeaning. Well, guess what? The Mexican Constitution, which I've read, also uses the word alien for non-Mexican citizens. It's a descriptive term. It's not a pejorative term. Comments?
Well, again, the Democrats will always find one way, like you said, they are experts in social and language engineering. So they come up with new terms that were not used 10 years ago. They come up with, what do they call it, cultural appropriations. What's this other one? There's another term. It's called microaggressions.
Oh, yes.
They find ways to come up with terms that they can use to demonize conservatives with. And that way, when you control the narrative, you have the power. You control the masses. And they're very good at that. We play by the rules, and we tend to be at a disadvantage because when you play by the rules and your opponent doesn't, then they have a clear advantage over you. And that's what they do. They use these terms, these words, to demonize, to vilify us. And we just need to continue to preach the truth. And hopefully reasonable people with open minds and open hearts will be open to it and change their mind and their hearts and make an impact in trying to keep the record straight here. Legal immigration, the word itself says it's legal, it's morally correct, and illegal immigration is what it says, illegal. So has to be condemned, denounced, and refuted.
I'm going to finish and then I'll kind of sum up what we've just said here. David and myself and the vast majority of Americans of Mexican descent, we have no problem with immigration. We're a country of immigrants. We have a problem with illegal immigration. David and myself, we don't want illegal Arabs, Nigerians, Russians, Armenians, Chinese, Vietnamese, Brazilians, Irish, or Mexican, etc. Okay? It's wrong to enable people to have contempt for the rule of law. We're a country that functions much more efficiently than any other country because of the rule of law. This is why so many people want to come here every single year. Lax immigration laws encourages a lawless society. Catholics should be against anything that is illegal in a free society, provided that the law is just. So David and myself, we find no contradiction between our Catholic faith and our support for the rule of law. Of course, we get it. We have to protect the dignity of every human person, which I believe the U.S. immigration law does exactly that. Every country has a right to define its own borders and to defend their borders and to develop laws to protect those borders as well. And so in my view, amnesty for illegal immigrants would be a disaster for America because it rewards illegal behavior. It shows contempt for the rule of law.
Right.
And what it does is it weakens respect for law, not only amongst immigrants, but amongst Americans as well. And it's a slap in the face to millions of people around the world, like my parents, who lined up and played by the rules to enter America legally. And the Democrats, I'll end with this. The Democrats, David, you said it quite well. They're relying on Hispanic voters, legal and illegal, to be a rock-solid voting bloc in favor of their leftist, Marxist supporters and allies for years to come. They don't care about us at all. They just want your vote. We're useful idiots to them. And but what better way to curry favor with Hispanics voters than by granting backdoor amnesty to millions of illegal aliens? That's why they keep pushing in that direction. I'm done. You got the final word, Dave, before we close.
Well, to all religious leaders, Catholics and non-Catholics, please, I would think that it would serve you better if you would talk more about how to become holy, talk about faith and morals, bring the flock to holiness. Yes, you can talk about social issues that are being outwardly and overtly being hurting the humanity or the integrity of human beings. That's what we're supposed to do. But there are times when you have to stay in your lane, and that is your religious, your vocation should be, that's your expertise, faith and morals. That's your vocation.
Save souls.
Yeah, save souls, bring souls to Christ. Don't tell the president or a political leader, how to run their business, because and conversely, the political leaders shouldn't also intrude into the religious leaders' affairs, because who knows best? Each one stay in your own lane, promote respect for the rule of law, common good, and keep bringing souls to Christ. That's my advice for religious leaders.
Well said, David. We'll have to do this again, my friend. Too bad you're in California, but hey, the internet brings us a lot closer like this, where I can just call you up and put you right on, and Arizona and California could connect and have some intelligent conversation. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll see you real soon. To all of you out there, hope you enjoyed the show. Click on the subscribe button to the Jesse Romero Show and promote this show to your family and friends who need moral clarity on this topic. God bless you. Thank you very much. Que viva Cristo Rey.
Que viva, y que viva la Virgen de Guadalupe.
Que viva. We're out.